I want you to imagine standing on this sun-drenched coastal dock. The salt air is blowing, the water is
It's
sparkling.
just a perfect postcard, honestly.
Right, totally. But the scene right in front of you is actually this jarring study in contrasts. To your left, you have these towering diesel cranes, and they are slowly lowering these giant, heavy steel foundations deep into the ground.
So really loud, heavy construction.
Exactly. It is a aggressive, modern construction. But then you turn your head to the right, and just a few feet away, there are newborn sea lions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're so incredibly small they could fit in a bread box, just sunning themselves on the weathered wood.
That's a wild image.
And right past them, you've got local commercial fishermen hauling heavy boxes of fresh wild-caught crab right off their boats. I mean, doing it exactly the same way they've done for decades.
You know, you are basically looking at the heavy machinery of the future operating side by side with the raw, breathing ecosystem and, of course, a traditional working waterfront.
Yeah, it's right there in front of you.
That single image really captures the ultimate urban planning tightrope walk, I think.
It really does. And that is exactly what we were getting into today. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at Oxnard's Channel Islands Harbor in the summer of 2026.
Right, to answer one of the absolute hardest questions in urban development.
Which is, how do you completely modernize a city's infrastructure and economy without paving over the gritty, authentic maritime soul that made the place special to begin with?
It's a huge challenge.
It is. So we are looking at local planning updates, newsletters, and community bulletins.
Yeah.
And not just as a list of dates, but as a fascinating blueprint for how places evolve.
Yeah, we are basically going to unpack the DNA of a community in transition.
Exactly. And I think we need to start with the literal blueprint, like the hard infrastructure.
Yeah, the most visible piece of that physical transformation right now is the massive project replacing the old Fisherman's Wharf.
Right, Carl's Village.
Exactly. It is being completely reborn as this complex called Carl's Village. And if you look at the community response, the mid-August sold-out groundbreaking ceremony is telling.
We had a groundbreaking sold out.
Yeah, people were literally clamoring for tickets to what is essentially a demolition and revitalization kickoff.
That is wild. But I was really struck by how the developers are kind of signaling their intentions during this messy phase.
How do you mean?
Well, if you walk by the Carl's Village site right now, you don't see that cheap, temporary chain link fencing blowing in the wind.
Oh, right, the green fence.
Yeah, they've installed this permanent-looking all-wood perimeter fence, and it's painted a very specific, deliberate shade of green.
Which is actually a really smart move. Visual signaling in urban planning is incredibly important for calming local anxieties,
Yeah, totally.
That green wooden fence is a thematic nod to Ventura County's rich agricultural history. They are intentionally blending it with the maritime heritage of the harbor.
Because the master concept for Carl's Village revolves around that eat, play, shop ethos, right?
Right. We're talking waterfront restaurants, indoor markets, public promenades. By investing in the quality of something as mundane as a construction fence, the developers are trying to visually communicate something.
That they respect the heritage of the space.
Exactly, even while they're tearing the old structures down.
But Carl's Village is really just one piece of this massive puzzle. I mean, you look down the waterfront, and heavy equipment is rolling in for a brand new Hyatt House hotel.
Which is a huge development.
Huge. We're talking a 210-suite, 4-story complex. It's bringing a resort-style pool deck, a rooftop bar overlooking the harbor, and this totally publicly accessible plaza.
And it's not just the new buildings. The actual bones of the harbor are getting a major facelift, too.
Right, the old Harbor Administration building was demolished, right?
Yeah, to make way for a new structural steel facility slated for 2028. And even the parking lots along Harbor Boulevard are getting completely repaved.
Okay, so let's unpack this for a second. It's kind of like doing a rest-a-mod on a classic 60s car.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right, like you keep the beautiful vintage silhouette intact, but you rip out the guts and you drop in a modern, highly efficient engine.
Yeah, you want the horsepower of a new economy, but the classic look of a historic harbor.
Exactly.
A rest-a-mod is a great way to visualize it.
Yeah.
Because you are updating the underpinnings so the vehicle can actually survive on modern roads. And we really have to look at the water itself, too, when we talk about underpinnings.
Oh, the marina?
Yeah. Suntex Marinas' Peninsula Yacht Marina is actively taking delivery of brand new, modern floating dock systems.
Right. And didn't they just finish other upgrades?
They did. This is coming right on the heels of major dock replacements that just wrapped up at Bahia Marina and Safe Harbor Anacapa Marina.
Okay, so here's where I want to push back a little bit.
Go for it.
When you pour this much concrete, and you build four-story luxury hotels with rooftop bars, and you bring in these massive cranes to reshape the skyline.
You're worried about the charm.
Yeah. Don't you risk completely destroying the gritty, authentic charm that drew people to the waterfront to begin with? I mean, it just feels a bit like gentrification in a sailor's hat.
It's a very fair point, and it's a common fear. But what's fascinating here is how we frequently view heavy construction as the enemy of authenticity.
Right.
When in reality, physical infrastructure is often required for a harbor's literal survival. I mean, think about what saltwater does to steel and wood over 50 years.
Oh, yeah, it just eats it alive.
Exactly. You have constant tidal stress, biofouling, oxidation. The old docks at Peninsula Yacht, Bahia, and Anacapa were aging, and they were becoming unsafe.
So it's not just about making it look pretty.
No, not at all. A marina isn't like a parking lot where you can just patch a pothole. When the underpinnings degrade, you either bring in the heavy cranes to drive new pilings, or the harbor ceases to exist.
Wow, okay, so the upgrade is a mechanical necessity.
Yes. But your point about losing the soul is valid. The key to avoiding that is ensuring these new multi-million-dollar spaces deliberately carve out room for local legacy businesses to return.
Right, so they don't just get priced out.
Exactly. The sources show us a deliberate strategy here. The developers aren't wiping the slate clean just to bring in generic national chains.
It's like they aren't just putting in 5 different chain coffee shops.
Right. Take Spudnuts and Real Guppy Outdoors, for example.
Well, I saw that in the notes.
Yeah, they are 2 local staples currently operating in temporary locations, but they are guaranteed new, updated spaces inside Carl's Village once the dust settles.
That's huge.
It is. They're being structurally integrated into the new economic engine.
And honestly, the physical spaces they are carving out for groups like Real Guppy Outdoors, that provides a perfect bridge to the next layer of this revitalization.
The people.
Yes. If the steel and the concrete are the bones of the harbor, the people are the soul. And what Real Guppy is doing is phenomenal.
It really is. They are a nonprofit entirely dedicated to youth development and ocean education.
Grassroots community preservation at its finest. Even while they are temporarily displaced near Mrs. Olson's restaurant, they are running free youth fishing days over at Wainimi Pier.
Yeah, and they also run Uncle Dave's rod building workshops.
But they aren't just teaching kids how to tie a knot, right? They are explicitly teaching marine conservation and fishing ethics.
Which is so important.
But why focus so heavily on the kids right now, like during this massive construction phase?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, they are actively building the next generation of what they call ocean stewards.
Ocean stewards, I like that.
Yeah, because if a city modernizes a waterfront, but the local youth feel no connection to it, the space eventually just becomes a sterile tourist trap.
That makes total sense.
Right. By teaching a kid how to build a rod and respect the local fish populations, you are giving that child a sense of ownership over the harbor.
Which creates this unbelievable contrast with what is happening simultaneously in this harbor.
The historical preservation side of things.
Exactly. You have the Maritime Museum, which is basically the cultural anchor of the area.
Oh, definitely.
In late August, they hosted a speaker series featuring Alan Salazar, who is a highly respected elder and traditional tamal builder.
The Chumash canoes, right?
Yes, he gave this detailed presentation on the revitalization of Chumash canoe culture.
Which is incredible.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Wow.
On one side of the harbor, you have multi-million-dollar steel foundations being driven into the earth by diesel cranes for a Hyatt hotel.
Right.
And just a stone's throw away, a respected elder is teaching the community about the ancient, meticulous, handmade craftsmanship of the Chumash tamal.
It's a striking image.
It is. And the Maritime Museum also hosts a monthly ship model guild where people just painstakingly build miniature ships alongside these free military appreciation events, like the one on August 13th.
You see, the community is refusing to treat its history like a dusty exhibit under glass.
Yes, exactly.
Authenticity isn't just about preserving old buildings. It is about maintaining living practices. Right. By empowering Real Guppy to teach kids fishing ethics, or bringing in Alan Salazar to share Chumash maritime traditions, the community is building what we can call an ideological infrastructure.
Wait, hold on. Ideological infrastructure. I love that
That's
phrase.
a great concept.
Because we usually think of infrastructure as just concrete, rebar, and asphalt.
Mm.
You're saying a guy teaching a canoe building class or a kid learning to cast a line is actually a load-bearing pillar for the town's identity.
Think of it this way. Physical infrastructure protects the harbor from the ocean, right?
Okay, yeah.
But ideological infrastructure protects the community's identity from the influx of new tourists.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if the locals have a deeply ingrained understanding of their own maritime history and their environmental responsibilities, that culture will dictate the vibe of the new plazas and hotels.
Rather than the tourists dictating the vibe to the locals.
Exactly. The locals hold the anchor.
And if you want to see that living practice in action, the sources actually offer an amazing insider tip.
Oh, the morning walk.
Yes. If you are hunting for real authenticity, don't just stare at the new promenades. Wake up early and take a 15-minute morning walk around Marine Emporium Landing.
Because it is an active commercial fishing harbor.
Totally. You will literally stand there and watch commercial boats offloading massive catches of sea urchin and box crab.
Sea lions lounging on the dock.
Pelicans dive bombing for the scraps. I mean, it is raw, messy, and incredibly real.
That working waterfront is the beating heart of the harbor ecosystem.
It really is.
The tourism, the modern hotels, the new docks, they all orbit around the fundamental reality that people are still pulling a living from the sea right there on those wooden planks.
And you mentioned those legacy commercial docks. What's amazing is that the catch coming off those boats doesn't just get packed in ice and shipped away somewhere else.
Right, it stays local.
It physically feeds the next phase of this revitalization, the culinary scene.
Which is fantastic.
The food is how the locals and the tourists actually experience this space together right now.
Yeah, the culinary scene acts as a direct bridge between the raw work of the commercial fishermen and the modern playfulness of the waterfront.
Sure. Every Sunday, this massive farmer's market takes over Marine Emporium Landing. You can literally buy fresh catch straight from the fishermen's boats.
That's as fresh as it gets.
But the prepared food is where it gets incredibly diverse. The sources were very specific about some must-tries for anyone visiting.
Oh, I definitely took notes on this part.
Over at Fisherman's Catch, the new general manager, Julio, has these new fish tacos that are apparently incredible.
And Sea Fresh is also noted for having massive, tasty portions of their own fish tacos.
Yeah, and at the farmer's market, you absolutely have to find Chris at the Fishing Fanatics booth for his homemade ceviche.
The food scene really reflects the blending of traditional and modern elements. I mean, you have local guys selling white sea bass, and yes, that's bass rhyming with mass, like the fish caught just offshore that morning.
Yeah, and looking at this culinary scene, I honestly expected just generic tourist seafood traps, like the kind with the giant plastic crabs on the roof.
Right, the typical tourist joints.
But the diversity caught me completely off guard. You have mokeku, Brazilian cuisine, Anawa sushi, alongside classic spots like Topper's Pizza and Mrs. Olson's Coffee Hut.
It's a real mix.
But how does a Brazilian cuisine spot or a sushi place fit into this historic Ventura County vibe without feeling out of place?
Well, you have to remember, a historic harbor was historically a port of call. It was a place where different cultures and goods constantly mixed.
Oh, that's a great point.
Right. True maritime authenticity isn't about serving only one type of food forever. It's about utilizing the local, fresh ingredients from those commercial docks.
So it's the ingredients that anchor it.
Exactly. Whether those local ingredients are prepared in a Brazilian mokeku stew, or rolled into sushi at Anaba, or just fried for a classic fish taco, it represents a vibrant, evolving community, not a stagnant theme park.
That makes a lot of sense. And beyond the food, the entertainment options in the harbor right now exist on two completely different tiers, which really fascinated me.
Yeah, the contrast is stark.
On one hand, you have the summer concert series at Harborview Park. It is completely free every Saturday afternoon.
Families bring picnic baskets.
Throwing blankets on the grass, listening to bands like Uncle Monkey on August 1st. I mean, it is totally accessible, grassroots community fun.
But then, on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, you have the brand new Viva Las Vegas casino cruise on a boat called the Starlight.
Yes. Every Friday night, tickets are $100 a pop. It is a highly premium experience.
Very premium.
You get this massive taco and nacho bar, complimentary champagne, discount margaritas. They feature a top-level open-air deck for stargazing, a 100-inch music video screen.
And a Lady Luck casino where you can throw dice at the craps table or play Power Play 21 for prizes.
It is pure glitz, glamour, and high-stakes energy on the water.
So think about that. On Friday night, people in cocktail attire are sipping champagne and playing craps on a luxury cruise.
Right.
And then on Saturday afternoon, families in shorts are sitting on the grass eating sandwiches and listening to a local funk band for $0.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? I look at these wildly different activities, a completely free park concert and a $100 floating casino, and I wonder how they coexist without fracturing the community.
It's a delicate balance.
Usually when luxury tourism rolls in, the locals just get pushed out. How does this harbor prevent that?
This brings us to the actual economics of community building. A truly successful, sustainable public space requires what urban planners call a tiered ecosystem.
A tiered ecosystem.
Yeah. The reality is public spaces cost an enormous amount of money to maintain.
Sure.
You need the economic engine of luxury tourism, the $100 tickets on the Starlight, the high-end suites at the new Hyatt House, the premium slips at the new Suntex docks to generate outside revenue and tax dollars.
Okay, that pays the bills.
Exactly. But if you want to keep the soul of the community intact, a city must aggressively funnel some of that revenue into maintaining highly accessible, free community gathering spaces.
Like the free parking along Harbor Boulevard that was just completely repaved. I noticed they made a really big point of keeping it free.
Free parking is a massive economic equalizer. Think about it. If parking costs $40, then the free park concert isn't actually free anymore.
Oh, right. And lower-income locals literally can't attend.
Exactly. Add in the open access farmers market and the free youth fishing days at Wainimi Pier.
It's all connected.
If a city only builds the premium tier, the locals are priced out of their own backyards. But if a city only relies on the free tier, the infrastructure literally crumbles into the ocean because there is no revenue for upkeep.
So Channel Islands Harbor is intentionally managing both sides of the ledger.
That's the tightrope walk we talked about at the start.
And that balance is incredibly delicate. But when a community strikes that balance, it creates this stable environment where quirky, hyper-local traditions can actually thrive.
Like Wet Wednesday.
Yes. Every Wednesday evening from spring through fall, local sailors head out and fill the harbor entrance with colorful sails as the sun sets over the Pacific.
It is such an idyllic, quiet tradition.
It is. But if you prefer your traditions a little louder and a little weirder, look at September 18th.
The Chowder Fest.
That is the 7th annual Chowder Fest over at the Maritime Museum. Up to 20 local restaurants compete for the best chowder title.
It's $45 ticket, right?
Yeah, but they actively look for volunteers who get in free and score a hat and a shirt. But the absolute best part is they just added the first ever Channel Islands Sea Lion Barking Contest.
Hosted by Captain Dave of Channel Islands Marine Safari Adventures.
I cannot even imagine the chaos of a crowd eating chowder and aggressively barking like sea lions.
It sounds hilarious.
You cannot buy that kind of charm with a multi-million-dollar real estate grant. You just have to cultivate it over time.
Which brings us to the core takeaway from everything we've analyzed today. Channel Islands Harbor is an active case study proving that growth does not have to mean erasure.
They are showing that you can bring in massive modern investments. You know, the Carl's Village mega complex, the modern Suntex floating docks, the 4-story Hyatt House.
Right.
But if you intentionally blend that hard infrastructure with deep cultural stewardship, a community can thrive.
When you actively support Chumash canoe building, fund youth fishing education through groups like Real Guppy, and aggressively protect the working commercial docks that supply your restaurants.
You give the community the anchors it needs to navigate the tides of change.
Exactly.
So whether you are a city planner looking for a blueprint on urban revitalization, or a travel enthusiast looking to rent an electric boat and spot a whale, which you can actually do through June.
Good to know.
Or, just someone hunting for the ultimate fish taco on a Sunday afternoon. There is a profound lesson here in how vibrant spaces are cultivated. It takes intense, deliberate intention.
It requires respecting the history of the space while pragmatically building the economic engine for its future.
So as we watch this massive multi-year transformation unfold, knowing that the new Harbor Administration building won't even be finished until 2028, it leaves us with a really fascinating philosophical question.
It real does.
This is something I want you to mull over as you look around your own town today. Does a coastal harbor or any historic neighborhood really ever truly achieve a finished state?
Or is the very nature of a waterfront like the ocean tides it sits upon, destined to constantly erode, rebuild, and shift its identity to serve whatever the current era demands.
Think about the evolving spaces in your own city. Think about the heavy cranes on the left and the raw, breathing traditions on the right. What are those spaces going to look like 50 years from now? And more importantly, who are they really being built for?